Okay. Man, sometimes that restream though. Sometimes that restream be fucking up on me though. We're doing it filterless today. I don't want to have to like raise my voice or anything like that if I can avoid it. This may or no, we're gonna put no. Well, actually, we have to because the music, yeah. Um, all right. Welcome to the dojo. Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow. I don't know why I had the urge to like get back towards Rust. I like this meme though. Shareholder value. Shoutouts to fellow YouTuber and ex user, not an FBI honeypot. Very funny guy. Also very smart, very knowledgeable material on privacy and things like that. Obviously, check that kind of stuff out. So, title of today's stream: raylib, gamedev, in C++ and Rust. It's pretty much what I have on the agenda. I've already got a thing kind of cooking here. And it's like a little bit like I went through the process of like unfucking my tool chain a little bit yesterday and getting to the point where I could actually build and run things again. So as an example of this, let me try something out here. Check it out. This is a Rust raylib program, so I can do game dev in Rust using raylib, which is pretty cool. And I think it would be kind of fun to start like building out some of the moving parts of my game and my engine into Rust versions. I think that would be a fun process because I am insane and I like learning new things all the time. Plus, I don't have enough excuses to actually do stuff in Rust. So I figure this is a good target, right? Like this is a good basic beginner kind of thing. And one of the first things that I want to get actually working is going to be sprites, right? Like reconstructing a lot of the C++ stuff that I've done for sprites already into Rust versions, I think is a pretty good target for just like picking up the basic way of doing things Rust style and see how things in C++ would actually translate over. Also offered me an opportunity to just kind of do something new. But if I feel like, oh, this kind of sucks and I hate it or whatever, then I'll probably end up swapping back over to actually building out the C++ version. Because at the end of the day, I am trying to make a game, not necessarily reinvent the wheel constantly, but at the same time, I do like learning new things and different ways of thinking about things. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're just going to have a chill Friday where we just game dev and code and shit. Feel free to chat. Feel free to talk about stuff. Tell me how much my code sucks. Backseat code if you want to. I don't give a fuck. It's all good in the hood. I have myself a sip of coffee. So recently, while fucking around and finding out, and actually let me pull up my other dashboard here. While fucking around and finding out recently, I learned how to actually declare objects and then pull them in to other places. It's a very basic pattern, and it took a while to like really understand the syntax on how to do this, but I think I figured it out. So something pretty straightforward here. Like you have to make, first of all, you declare a new file, right? So we call it person, because we're going to create a new object representing person and handle all of its various functions and things, right? So first things first, when you make your struct, you declare your struct, but you got to make it public so that things outside of this file can have access to it. Next, you have the thing that's called an implementation, which is basically like a Java style interface for, like, in terms of object oriented, where you declare a number of different like functions inside of that, and then you handle them appropriately. We're doing basically no checking here, except for the fact that fname and lname have to be strings. But we would consider, do we want to make it possible, because it currently is, it's possible to have a string, like a fname that's empty, right? So you'd be able to create a person that's like empty string, which is probably not what we want. But okay, so I'm overanalyzing it, right? Like, also, I wonder, I'm just curious, why do I need to do this, right? Like, why can't I just have John and Doe, right? So why is it yelling about that? So it's actually taking a reference to a string instead of like a copy of a string. Is that right? So that's very curious, right? So like, what would happen if I actually compiled this or try to compile it? Mismatched types. So if we take a look at the signature on this line right here, this actually takes a whole ass string. So like, what if we wanted to be able to just pass a reference to a string, right? I'm just curious. See, this is how I fucked around and found out in college, right? Like, could I do like this and then like this, right? So it's going to yell naturally, right? Oh, isn't there like a difference between like str and string too, right? Isn't there like an str? So what's up here? See, I've already broken a lot. Like, okay, so what's the only the size or values of type string cannot be, or type str cannot be known at compilation time. The trait size is not implemented for str. Only the last field of a struct may have a dynamically sized type. Change the field's type to have a statically known. Okay, interesting. So we have code actions. So yelling because we don't have like an implementation for it. Now we got like big issues here, so we gotta correct our types here. Okay. Generate a getter method, a setter method, and a dereference implement using first name. So maybe that's why we had to have it as strings, right? I guess string allows for something a little bit more flexible. What I was trying to do down here is if we have like a new 2, right? So of course we wouldn't be able to do that, but what if I can do something like that actually works. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, why is it yelling about this, though? Wait, what? No. The fuck? I don't know why it's Give me all those options. Okay. Well, whatever. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so by default it does that, but then you can actually do a .toString on it. Okay, well that works too. So you have a couple options there, but that's still weird. That's still pretty weird though, right? Like that's a very unusual pattern. I mean, whenever I'm creating a person, I would want to. So I guess what happens when we actually create the person, like whenever we call new, does it actually call that? It's like the definition separate from the implementation of the new. Is that what's going on there? Associated news never used. Interesting. Is that right? Okay. Well, now I know it's actually the other way around. So let P equal so do that. Okay. So that makes sense. All right. So it's basically just like generating patterns for like how you actually can establish ways to actually construct objects. In other words, you have some sort of interface as you have kind of like better function calling organization, and it can share the same name as a struct that you define. So in this case, implementation person is kind of like a namespace, which is why over here we can access new within that namespace using : :. So that makes sense. Knowing that, Here's our sprite back in C++ land, right? Pretty good. Mostly works pretty well. Can't think of any real issues. Super simple and easy to work with. And the whole point is to manage access to a texture pointer. So, like in the very beginning of the game, we load a bunch of textures into a big texture array. This big texture array is like the master reference sheet for all the graphics in the game. So one thing you want to do is, in addition to managing like where that texture for this sprite happens to be at in that map, we also want to keep track of like how wide and how high, like how tall the sprite like is. Because what a sprite is often represented, like the current frame of a sprite is kind of like the iceberg tip of that sprite. So in raylib land, like we could actually probably get rid of width and height, because that's often, well, no, because that's source and destination here are two different things. Because like we calculate destination and store that somewhere else. We don't keep that on the sprite here. See, what was the see? I have such a goldfish brain. What was the syntax? It was like public struct sprite like that, and then public texture I forget the order that we declare things in though. Oh yeah. Public, why is it all grayed out though? Oh, this is not used anywhere. So in this case, we would mod sprite. And instead of use create person, create sprite. Sprite. Oh, is it I-32? Num contexts. Num frames. Current frame, current context. Check this out. Pub. Uh-oh. This is where shit gets kind of... Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it's really not so much that we can't just like do that, you know. So actually, that's kind of good. So now going off of this. Hoo-wee. Okay, so empty constructor, right? Sprite. Right, so over here, comparing it with person again. Public function new. And comparing that again with sprite. Texture pointer, not NC and then NF. So in this case, because we're not using the pointer anymore, or T for texture, NC, which is I32, and then NF, which is I32. And so this will return a sprite. Current frame 0, current context 0, num loops 0. Oh shit, it's, oh wait, I got my syntax wrong, hold up. Okay, so why is it yelling at me? Oh, well, I haven't finished defining it. Shut up. It's like missing fields. Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh yeah, texture. Texture T. Width equals T pointing to width, T dot width divided by NF, right? And then height is just height divided by num context. Stop on last frame. So wait, do I got the order right here? Current num context NC num frames F. Stop on last frame by default is false. Num loops is animating by default is true, and then the source is this old nasty thing right here. guy out here. Those aren't correct. Like, obviously we're going to need to actually put real values there, but so far so good. So current frame times width, right? X equals current frame times width, which would be 0. Y, which is also 0, and then width it's going to be equal to our width up here, t dot width divided by nf, t dot height divided by nc. It doesn't like that. So I was saying, because this is like integer division. So how do we oh, what? You cannot multiply an I-32 by a float? What? That's crazy. Holy shit. All right. Well, checked. Whoa, this, what the flying fuck is that? That's so crazy. Okay. I don't want to do it that way. Wait. There we go. I forgot about this convention. This is kind of useful. All right. So now we have the ability to actually create a new sprite and just like be able to just have it exist, right? No, I haven't really gotten to that yet. Focus more on actually, I'm not so much about abstracting so much as getting stuff done. There's probably a time and a place where I would need that. I don't believe now is that necessarily, but good question. Valid question, though. Okay, so I actually created this image folder because I'm going to copy over some of my sprite sheets so that we can actually demo being able to like load something, right? So we're going to copy from doot CPP doot raylib RPG source image char human idle, and then we'll do that into image char there as well. Okay, so let's take a look, see at our main, right? All we're really doing in the main is just literally drawing some text. So we need to step it up a notch, right? So there's our first step. That's the path to the file I just copied over. Now that the window's been created, we've loaded the render texture. Okay, what'd I do wrong now? There might be some other variables that I'm forgetting about. Such as so over here I'm actually using load texture from image. And then I'm actually doing that by loading the image into a separate thing before I do that. Interesting. Okay. You could do that here too. So let human idle image will load image. Maybe it doesn't like that either. Oh, we just don't have access to that function. Okay, okay. Call to unsafe function or block. Oh, that's fun. Mismatch type, expect raw pointer, but found reference. What? But I did that already. Mismatch types. All right. My God. I have not gotten anything done in almost an hour. Holy shit. Welcome to Rust. I definitely want to do load image, but okay. That's better. That's better. Fucking awesome. Okay, we're making a little progress. So we're not using my thing yet. And we're testing to see if we can actually. So, syntactically, this is good. This is a step forward. So now it's not bitching about anything, which is great. So there's our evil dojo again, of course, right? And now I want to draw, at the very least, that sprite sheet I just loaded up, right? So let's say we want to draw right behind it, right? Okay, good. We actually have a function signature on here. So it takes a texture, rectangle, vector2, F32, and then color. Yeah, just like the original. So that's straightforward enough. So let's do it. Texture. Is a human. Oh, we don't have a texture yet. Fuck. Hold on. Jumping the gun here. Okay, so we want to let human idle texture. I swear I just saw. How to do this. Oh, I have to do it. It's texture 2D. Or wait, hold on. We could just load the texture directly. Apparently. Okay, so there's that. Now let's actually get the sprite sheet up. Human idle texture, right? Into a rectangle, and then another rectangle, right? What's the width and the height of this whole thing? 12. I forgot what the actual textures width and height are. So that's rectangle 1. That's our source. $720. What are the other parts of this function? Vector. Oh, yeah. Oh man, almost syntactically perfect. Fuck. Oh yeah. Okay, and then what's up with this one? Use of moved value. Value moved here in previous iteration of loop. Oh wow. That's broken. Flip comma. What? Inline variable. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, okay, okay. Sick. Okay, no errors. No errors. I like that. Is it going to draw correctly or is it going to draw at all? But the whole idea is that it's going to stretch the sprite sheet to fit the window. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Okay, okay, we got something drawn. We got something that's not nothing. This is basically what I was going for. Although it is only drawing, well, is that correct? I was expecting more, actually. Human idle texture height. It should actually be 2x that. So I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Let's see if we can clean this line up, because this line is actually kind of fucking awful. Let's source equal. Okay, there you go. So there's source dest equal. All right, so I mean this is a good start, right? But man, the code is gonna need a lot of cleaning up, and we're gonna have to be very careful as we go every step of the way. Now, why do we have it inside of here, right? Just curious. Oh, interesting. So there's already a borrow on RL as a result. So we can't even do shit if this inner part's not contained, because we are drawing, because like we're using this mute D up here, and then we actually pull it again down here. and it's for two different contexts. One is for the render texture that we draw to before we draw to the window, and then the other is for when we actually draw to the window. So we'd have to rewrite that whole thing in order to compensate for that situation. Interesting. Okay, this is enlightening. I'm learning. Oh, it doesn't like that. Huh. Oh, okay. Let's put that in parentheses. There we go. I hope I am providing shareholder value. Everything still works. Let's go ahead and check in our code. Or the whole point is that we want to actually test out Sprite, right? So now that we actually have the Sprite sheet like drawing correctly, we'll start slicing out like parts of it and then demonstrate how we can load this into the actual Sprite class. Not class, but struct. I have to piss real quick though. Hold on. Okay, we are back. So we're not using that yet, but we still want to add that as an update. No, we're not using Sprite yet. Wait. It got rid of my shit. Texture, num context, num frames. Oh, this needs to be a maybe I don't necessarily need. But see, this was a convenience. This was a kind of a nice thing. So T dot width divided by num frames. Wait, is that right? Yeah. Uh-oh. Borrow of moved value. It begins. So to get around that, let's see. Okay, this looks like it'll be a good solution. Let's see, human idle texture dot width. Oh. So really in Sprite, what we want is a reference. I don't know how to do this. I don't understand the syntax at all. Okay, so there's no errors there, and it's just yelling because we're not currently using anything over here. All right. So we got this sprite up here, right? Human idle sprite. Okay, okay, this is a start. This is a start. It's way off center. But you know what? So I forgot to account for the fact that every like the source, for instance, right? It's not width. But width and height should technically be like 32. Actually, no. Yes. 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 Oh, it's actually offset. Wait. I was curious. Interesting. There's definitely some sort of calculation issue here, because the technically the width and the height of the source should be 32. So I find that very kind of curious. I don't know why. So like if I did 64 over, that would be like the next frame of animation, right? See what I'm saying? So if I wanted to keep track of like actually better yet, if I wanted to keep track of like a current frame of animation, right? How would we do that? We have that in our sprite. So after we draw that sprite, like we want to increment and even then, like here we're directly drawing like the human idle texture, but like we should probably be actually calling or pulling it from the sprite that we actually instantiate it with, right? As opposed to the old variable. Now, because that's already a reference, we want to make sure we don't like pass a reference to a reference, right? Let's see. So it's not mutable. Current frame, current context, those need to be mutable. Now, why doesn't it like that? Does it have to be mutable public? Oh, or wait, no, the mutable comes over here. No? Where does the fucking mutable go? Oh, what? You have to declare the entire instance. You can't do it like on a per item basis. So the sprite has to be mute. That seems weird. Well, I guess that makes sense. Well, I don't know. So what you're telling me up here is this has to be let mutable like that. That's what you're telling me. And then if that's greater than or equal to if that's greater and equal to num frames, then we're going to go and reset that to 0. Also, I want to keep track of the current frame. Or rather, frame count. All right, let's so the problem here is that whenever we update the current frame, now we have to update the source on the sprite, right? Okay. Well, he's flipping his head back and forth really fast. And that's good. So let's slow it down a notch. If frame count mod 10 exactly equal to 0, then we will update the source. Or better yet, like It's not the most preferred way to go about doing things, but we have something that works, and you really can't knock that. Man, this really does require a lot of patience, though. Holy fuck. Now I think about it, I probably want to order some snackage. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Haven't checked chats in a minute. Oh wow, we actually got some chatters. No, I'm not exactly mixing languages, Sorcerer. Right on grind, right on Incog. Appreciate that. So we got the very beginnings of the sprite infrastructure starting to go again. So we should be able to actually achieve this same thing up here a lot more simply now. Take. I-32. It doesn't tell me what though. NC and F, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's a lot better. That's a lot cleaner. So that should still build. Oh no. I don't know yet what the fuck that means. Oh, right. don't know what the fuck. Ugh. Could I just do something like this? Like new sprite like that. It's pretty good. Okay, well, this is a step in the right direction to like actually refactoring and doing this shit properly. It's probably about time to take a break, though. Just because they're never read. Doesn't mean that we're not going to use them, though. Increment frame. What if it has no return? And we gotta go real quick. All right, I think we might take a break after this, but how do we return void? Do I just not specify anything? What's the problem down here? Oh. Oh, okay. Now, why is it not like this? Oh, yeah. Wait, what? Okay. This seems like a bug, right? I mean, it's gonna, or not even a bug, but like, I don't necessarily need to do this twice. But I thought human sprite was already mutable. Okay. But the offset. I'm not sure why I would need to do this. Why is it having to be multiplied by 2? Not 100% sure. But it is working. And we have the main file down to less than 100 lines. That's not nothing. $83 lines here. And then over here. Man, it is a slog getting back to where we were at. And practically speaking, it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep pushing on in this direction. But I'm probably going to anyway because I can. And who knows, you know, one of the big actual hurdles towards getting things really working in this environment, because while I can totally build the game from this angle, distributing it becomes another issue. And I already have a very nice implementation working for C++. So why not I actually get back to working on that at some point soon? Until next time, everyone. Actually, before I go. This has been Evil Dojo, signing off.